What is fun? When I think of what I considered fun in my early years, there was so much seeking involved. Seeking a high, looking for the party, searching for love and for elevated experience. Of course, most of that was running from reality or running from facing whatever it is I needed to face. Much of it was also a celebration of music and life. And that's the thing with life. The good and the bad roll together, and so it's hard to tell where you're at half the time. So what is fun? Is it chasing? Is it running? Is it finding after a long time of running and then exploding into oblivion? I mean, there is no doubt that some of that is fun, seeking adventure, meeting strange and wonderful people, shifting consciousness as the world bends around you, doing its snake dance. But honest to God, when I look back over the years, the times that stand out as the most fun were times when I was building something, spending months in studios, recording something over and over again, flying to London and taking a car through the English countryside to Box England and Real World Studios, where we trapped ourselves for weeks or even months, obsessing over every aspect of a recording. Or going out to LA and working at Sound City, where the same thing happened but with a whole new cast and crew. And yes, that describes an elevated position, for obviously not everyone gets the opportunity to go to places like that and work with the people that populate them. But that's really not the point, because that same energy, that energy of building, really can be had for the price of a pen and a notebook. It's when we dive into our imagination and seek a divine connection with the idea of giving something to humanity, which is where fun actually is. And just as I said, nothing is all good or all bad. Those kind of qualitative judgments are hard to make and maybe unnecessary, because there's so many examples of something good coming out of something bad and something bad coming out of something good. And so much depends on our psychological makeup as well, or to put it another way, how far one will take the seeking and the chasing to score oblivion. If you're like me, the answer would be too far. And sometimes that search for oblivion would find its way into recording studios, where the searching and seeking would continue even as the building went on. So judging this or that isn't really what this is about. More so, dismantling the psyop of what society pushes as fun, which amounts most often to escape, and what they never push as fun, which most often amounts to building and is the act of creative exploration and expansion, or work and presence and sobriety. The most elevated times I've had when looking back were when being possessed by a dream, creating a body of songs for an album, working and writing and going on long walks through Manhattan, listening to some demos, finding out how they play against a city landscape. And if I had to break it down, just why that is, why are the times in my past when I was most illuminated the times when I was most possessed by a dream and the action of building? I would say because the creative act is an invitation into presence and a form of communion with the imagination and with the muse and with God. For an artist, in the midst of work's obsession, they are building a kind of church in their mind and moving in. They are leading and being led at the same time. They are creating but also collaborating with forces beyond this world. Every day becomes a ritual and a discovery, even through the grind of difficulties. Once they are possessed enough by a dream, no difficulty is going to stop them, and the satisfaction of seeing something through is immense. And in those times, you carry your dream with you everywhere you go. As you go through the motions of the night, your mind is still tinkering away at the stone. Those were the very best of times. And those times are what all distractions and fear of the world aim to keep us away from. For me, the way back into those times is made from a crazy form of discipline and hunger and the need to prove you can arrive there again and that you still belong dancing with God. Monk mode and foregoing the avenues of easy escape so that the mind will seek escape at points of higher elevation through the machinery of creation. We don't make it to those places without sacrifice, and we don't make it there through distraction and escape as the mind tortures us by wanting to be there as it runs in the opposite direction. The irony is we make it to the place of having the most fun by engaging in the work, because work that resonates with our soul is also the pathway to communion with God and putting us squarely in the moment we are actually in. An artist or creator that is young and hungry and who has everything to prove gets there rather easily. Their hunger forces them in that direction, and their willingness and fearlessness to take risks is far greater than their fear of failure. But as one ages, the puzzle of creativity and life becomes more complicated, and our willingness to be a beginner becomes harder to reach. But I realized lately that the church of creation never closes. It's always there waiting for us. The pathway to its doors is like a maze, and years of life lived makes the maze grow where many of the pathways lead to new walls, which is why so many artists fade with age. But many artists don't as well. Many make their greatest work later in life. Their dedication to finding the church of creation means that when they do finally find those doors again and crack them open, they enter the building holding years of experience with them. And those years lend a power to their work that wasn't there before. There is nothing limiting us except the limitations that we agree with. And if we are honest, the church of creation has never been easy to get to. And the only way into its doors is to desire entry more than anything else. And the only way to acquire that kind of desire is to sacrifice cheap measures of escape, to give no escape except for through those doors. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and tell us how you make it to the church of creation.